Today we are attempting to hike to the highest point in Maryland, 3,360-foot Hoye Crest, which is also the high point of a mountain ridge known as Backbone Mountain. We parked the car over there. I believe we're actually starting the hike in West Virginia. And as you can see, even though we're decently far south, it's a winter wonderland here. Not as much so as the Northeast, which got slammed in the nor'easter recently, but it's a winter wonderland here. In fact, I actually drove through some snow squalls earlier. And even though we're hiking in West Virginia, Maryland, snowshoes. This is probably the southernmost hike I've done where I had to wear snowshoes. So we're basically going to follow this logging road 1 mile and 700 vertical feet to the summit of Maryland's highest point, sorry. So anyway, I'll meet you up the trail to Hoye Crest, Maryland. Alright, as you can hopefully tell, the trail is blazing, or appears to be blazed, with red HP markers on the trees. Assuming these are blazed all the way to the top, that's what you want to look out for. Alright, so you've come to a clearing of sorts. You want to go this way, as dictated by that sign. But snow's deeper than I thought. I thought there'd be little to no snow at all. Now, I originally planned after this hike to drive north to Pennsylvania and do that state's high point, Mount Davis. That's got to wait till tomorrow. After this, I'm probably gonna make my way north. I'm gonna check into a hotel at some point for the night. Get some breakfast tomorrow. Hike Mount Davis. And then probably head back to New Hampshire. It's only a mile. How bad can it be? One of my snowshoes is kind of crippled. But I don't think it should be that big an issue if the hike is only a mile. You cut to a crossroads. A few skid roads go that way. You want to stay this way, following the red HP blazes. Now, there's a marker at the top, a sign of some sort, marking the highest point, commemorating it. Supposedly there's a decent view from here as well, unless that grew over in the years since the last trip reports to the mountain I read were posted. Not too far to go. Like I said, it's only a mile each way. I apologize if I said round trip. It's a mile each way. Anyway, onward we go to the highest point in Maryland. We've reached a crossroads of sorts. If you want to go to Route 219, where I currently parked, you want to go that way, following my tracks. However, if it's the high point you seek, heed that blazing arrow, you want to go this way. Whew. Never expected to come to Maryland and go snowshoeing. That's interesting. Then again, we may be south of New England, but not by much. At least not compared to some of the other places I've gone, like Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, yada yada yada. Anyway, onward ho we go. Looks like the snow squalls are starting to come back. We got a long, straight, steady section before I get to the top. We drove, well, after we parked, where I showed you the car was at the beginning of the video, had just driven about 650 miles from Auburn, New Hampshire to the trailhead in West Virginia. And now we're snowshoeing 2 miles round trip up a decently steep trail through unpacked powder as much as a foot deep in spots. Sorry, camera cut out. For having driven 650 miles and then doing a 2 mile snowshoe through unpacked powder to the top of Maryland's highest point, I'd say that's a pretty damn good accomplishment and indicative of my energy and fitness level. So if I see something interesting, I'll show it to you. Otherwise, I'll meet you at the top of the highest point in Maryland. Here's something interesting. One more sign pointing to the high point. And apparently marker number 3, whatever that is. There's a path going here. You don't want to do that. You want to veer left this way, heading toward the summit of Hoye Crest. Anyway, I'll meet you at the top of Maryland's high point, assuming nothing interesting comes up. Okay, apparently that marker number 3 I told you about is a boundary marker between West Virginia and Maryland. Maryland high point, supposedly, you gotta follow this trail. It should be a little lump up there, don't know if you can see it. Anyway, I'll meet you there. We've done it. After driving all the way from southeastern New Hampshire to here, we've summited the highest point in Maryland, 3,360-foot Hoye Crest. Yeah, and this is my 17th U.S. state high point. Hopefully Mount Davis, Pennsylvania tomorrow will be number 18. We got a register, obviously the sign, a few pivot tables, and scenic outlooks toward the I think it's the east, correct me if I'm wrong. So they parked on US Route 219 in the West Virginia side of the mountain. We hiked, I guess you want to call it the High Point Trail, about a mile, 700 vertical feet to the summit. We did end up using snowshoes. I wasn't expecting that, micro spikes possibly, but not snowshoes. So we're gonna spend a little bit here, hike back down to the car at Route 219. I was planning on doing the Pennsylvania High Point today after this, but I just don't have enough time and daylight. So I get going to town, check into a hotel, and then try tomorrow. So, like I said, we're just gonna chill out here for a little bit, no pun intended, because it is pretty cold and windy. So we're gonna do that. And I'll meet you back at the trailhead as soon as nothing interesting comes up. We're back at the trailhead off US Route 219. Yes, very productive day. We drove 650 miles roughly, about 10 hours. From southeastern New Hampshire to this trailhead. Then we did a 2-mile round trip snowshoe hike through unpacked powder up to a foot or two deep in places. To the highest point in Maryland, 3,360-foot Hoye Crest. Hike wasn't that bad. It made it a little more challenging because of unbroken snow, which, like I said, was deep at times, but what are you gonna do? Neat high point, the actual highest point. A little view out into the surrounding area. Benches, a sign, a cairn, plaque, register. What more can you want? So, round trip distance was 2 miles, about 700 feet of gain. Took about an hour, not including my summer break. So, from the trailhead for Hoye Crest, Maryland, thank you for watching, and I gotta head into town, get a hotel room for the night, and then the next morning attempt Mount Davis, Pennsylvania's high point. If you choose to follow along, I'll catch you in that video. Otherwise, I'll see you on my next adventure.